left field. It's deep. It's going. Yes! And it is gone. Yes!
He steps up his head and falls forward. And he fumbles the football, and the Eagles have it.
Saquon Barkley's the guy. He's going to take it. Touchdown from 65.
Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Gonna be a snowy one.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna be a snowy Saturday.
For basically the entire country, it's going to be a snowy Sunday tomorrow. So,
But that doesn't affect us for now. I'm Andrew. Sitting across from me is Tyler.
what's going on, everyone?
Welcome back. And we're not on Zoom, which is good.
We were actually able to meet in the studio this week.
No Zoom this week.
No complications getting here.
No snow.
We both left with plenty of time
Thank God.
in order to get here, because that's been a problem.
And we'll be able to talk about all four teams today.
Yep.
Should be good. And I want to get started right away.
Yeah, let's dive
Because-
into, the biggest news of the week, probably.
Yeah, we're content when we are with the show.
We got a good club.
We're content when we are, baby. Dave Dombrowski. The signing of JT is official,
Yes.
unfortunately.
3 years, $45 million.
$45 million with Dave Dombrowski saying that they're content where we are.
$45 million.
Pretty much pointed a gun to Rob Thompson's head, basically saying the same thing too. There was a quote from Rob that he was asked, "What do you think about the running it back?" And he was like, "Well, we're going to turn 20 to 25% of the roster over. We got
We're not running it
prospects.
back.
We got prospects. We got Painter. We got Otto Kemp, who wasn't here at the start of the season.
Like, yeah, but he was there at the end.
We got a new right fielder. Ooh, man. And seeing this, I mean, the Mets have gotten objectively better within the span of a week.
Yes, the Mets have gotten significantly better.
Even though that their entire infield is full of shortstops and second basemen.
Yes, the entire infield is new. Like, let's just take a look at all of the pieces that have come in. You got Polanco that's going to be playing first.
Polanco, Simeon, Bichette.
You got Simeon playing second. You got Bichette probably playing...
Bichette's not a good fielder.
No, Bichette will probably play second. Simeon will play third.
And then
Lindor will play short.
Bichette announced as playing third.
Really?
Yep.
Bichette's going to be third instead of second base? But even though Simeon's got history playing third?
I guess so, yeah.
That seems really
even
weird
though Bichette's
to me,
a really
doesn't it?
bad fielder. And then they upgraded even more with Robert Jr. from the White Sox.
Although, I'm still not completely sold that that's an upgrade. It's a high upside move, but they did give up the younger brother of
Luis Acuna.
But so
they upgraded massively in the pitching department.
Yes, they did.
Freddie Peralta, are you serious? It took them they had to trade 2 top 100 prospects to get him, but
now with all of the moves that the Mets have made, do you think that there's a realistic shot that the Mets could actually beat the Phillies next year for the division, based off of the fact that the Phillies have not made the same type of
there's a realistic shot that the
moves.
Phillies could finish in third place behind the Braves.
And that's another team that had a very down year last year, but still has a lot of talent. They still have Acuna. They still got Austin Riley. They still have Matt Olson.
Yep.
Still have Strider. They still have...
They just got Robert Suarez from the Padres.
What's the other guy that had a good year last year? Schwellenbach.
Yep.
Yeah, they still have him. Still have Michael Harris II.
They got Chris Sale still.
Yeah, like they still have a very good team. So you can't count out the Atlanta Braves either, just because they got off to a horrible start last year and they were riddled by injuries. So with how, I guess, stale the Phillies have been in their offseason shuffling, it's not completely running it back, but let's look at the guys that you have that are new.
It's pretty much running it back. Come on, man.
You have a new version of Nick Castellanos with better fielding
Garcia
in right field and Adolis Garcia. You maybe have a better bullpen with the fact that Alvarado is going to be here for the full year, as long as there's no other suspension looming. Keller coming in. Even though you did give away Matt Strahm, So,
Like, I still think the bullpen is still going to be good.
and I do think the bullpen is improved from last season, where they have brought in Keller, and didn't they bring in someone else as well? That I can't put my finger
They got
on
some
who
trade.
it
They
is.
traded for some guys. Well, one of the guys they traded was a reliever for Matt Strom, and then someone else from the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I can't for the.
And then they
I
got
can't
someone
remember
from
his
the
name.
Rule 5 draft. Yeah.
But I do have faith the bullpen will be better than it was last year. And aside from that, though, I can't definitively say that the lineup will be better because the lineup is basically the same. You're swapping out Harrison Bader for Justin Crawford
swapping out
and
Castellanos for Garcia.
And that's the only changes that you're going to have to this lineup. Everyone else that you see that's going to be playing a position out there in the field is someone that was here last year.
But wait, they forgot they signed Schwarber.
Dude, when Dave Dombrowski said, I think a lot of people forget that we re-signed Schwarbs, at the beginning of the offseason.
Like, come on, man. No one forgot that Kyle Schwarber was re-signed.
Dave Dombrowski, no one is forgetting about the fact that you gave $35 million to Kyle Schwarber per year for the next 5 years. No one forgets that, dude. Like, I don't know where you're seeing on social media or any news outlet where people are saying, oh yeah, the Phillies would be great if they didn't lose Schwarber. No one is saying that. Everyone knows that the Phillies have Kyle Schwarber.
Listening to 94.1. Usually I don't like the station. I'm not a fan, but some of their Phillies takes, the guys from the midday show, Joe Giglio, like, he's been doing good with his Phillies takes. He's like, I don't think Dave Dombrowski is going to come back next season. He had a terrible offseason. The first thing he mentioned was the Bryce Harper talks.
Yep.
The Bryce Harper talks of him not playing elite. Did you see? He made a TikTok of him hitting batting practice, and he wore a shirt that said "not elite."
Yeah, not elite.
So he's clearly taking that
to heart. He's taking it to heart. Yeah.
Which honestly, I really like to see that because that might put a spark in him, and we could see his.
It depends how he plays.
Yeah.
If he doesn't back it up,
I think he can back it up.
Oh, he 100% can.
Depends who's hitting cleanup. Alec Boehm.
I mean, who else? I guess you would have to start off with giving Adolis Garcia a try in the cleanup spot.
I guess, yeah. Well, they're probably going to mess with the cleanup spot in spring training.
Who else are you going to put there?
Yeah, it's basically Boehm, JT, and not Marsh, Garcia for the cleanup spot.
You're not going to have it probably be JT just because of the fact that you want to try to limit as much playing time that he probably has, period, throughout the game with the age that he's at and the money that he's making, plus the fact that they don't really have or at least in their mind, a reliable, viable backup. And they even told you this by saying in the press conference, Dave Dombrowski goes, no offense to the rest of the catchers that we have. Basically, when there was no need for him to sit there and go,
there wasn't.
No offense to the rest of the catchers, but, we would have been looking for someone outside of the organization. You would have just said, like, you could have just said this to get the point across that you were trying to make. If we didn't re-sign JT, we would have been looking for other avenues to get another catcher in here because we needed to have 3 catchers for this roster throughout the entirety of the season. Mm-hmm. But instead of saying that, they decide to go, no offense to the guys that we currently have, basically calling them out like, yo, not to say that these guys suck over here, but like, if JT didn't come back, we'd be in real trouble.
Yeah, like you could have easily gotten a better catcher through free agency or trade.
So who knows how Stubbs and Marchand feel about those comments, because it's not like they have cameras or anything like that in their face.
Another thing that he said was the Nick Castellanos thing. Basically just putting it out there like, this guy sucks. We don't want him on our team. And he's expecting like other clubs to come at him like, me, I want a me.
So I'll listen to 97.5 on the morning on my way into work. And John Kincaid said that Dave Dombrowski is running his club like he's selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. He's just straight saying, hey, this is where it is. I don't want it anymore. This is what I'm selling. Who's willing to give me anything for it?
It's like an auction house.
And he's like, no wonder why he's not getting any trades done. It's because he's sitting there and he's just basically being like, here's who I have available. I don't want them. What do you guys want for them? And it's like, that's not how you get a deal done. You have to sit there and make the other team or the other organization feel like they are acquiring something that is of use. If you are sitting there being like, I'll give this guy to you for a bag of potato chips and you can fill my freaking sodas, no team is going to be interested in what you're saying.
The return for Castellanos. That's what it's going to be like. And from Ken Rosenthal said this yesterday. He said there's two potential suitors, the Padres and Marlins.
And there's probably no reason for either of them to try to actually make a trade because if you just wait long enough, you'll have the opportunity to sign him on a new contract because the Phillies are going to release him.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous.
I believe he said the Padres were looking for a right-handed power bat, and Castellanos said that he would be open to playing first base. And they don't have a first baseman anymore.
Because Arias is still not signed, right?
Nope, he's still not signed to a
Wouldn't
contract.
that be maybe an interesting ad for the Phillies that would be probably low cost and someone that would give them a much different plate approach than what they have?
Luis Arias, I was hearing like he's very overrated, but
it's because defensively he's not good.
Defensively he's not good, and this last season, he really wasn't playing his best. I mean, his exit velocity numbers were not there.
His exit velocity has never been there. And that's the thing. Arias is a guy that's going to get hits. And that is primarily what he brings to the table, is he makes contact. He rarely ever strikes out. I don't think he's had a single season.
Percentage.
I don't think he's had a single season with over 100 strikeouts ever in his career.
But he's got a -9 outs above average at first base, which is really weak.
That's not his real position.
It's not.
His real position is second base. That's what he played with
Minnesota and Miami.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then the Padres just had to move him to first base because they didn't have anyone for first base.
His hard hit percentage at 16.7, his barrel percentage at 1.
Mm-hmm.
These are the lowest in the entire league.
But they've never been high.
Average exit velocity 86.
My thing is, though, is they've never been high, and he's still been a over 300 batting average guy his entire career. And he's never had high exit
which I'm surprised
or
he doesn't
barrel
have
rate.
A contract yet. I was honestly hoping that some team like the Rockies would take a flyer on him because he already has good contact numbers, and you take him into a ballpark like Coors Field.
I think that he would honestly be a good platoon option here for Stott, because
they're
Arias...
both lefty.
Oh, he is lefty? I thought Arias was switch.
No, they're both lefties.
Because I was going to say, you could potentially have him come in and play second base when you want to give Stott a spell.
Yeah, but they're both lefties. I was like, nope.
If they're both lefties. I thought Arias was switch.
They're not gonna get rid of Bryson Stott because he's only getting paid $5 million.
No, and you're not gonna move Arias to third base to cover up for Alec Boehm with how bad his defense is.
And you're not getting rid of first base.
No, obviously.
Though John Heyman said Philly could be looking to add a starting pitcher. Now, the starting pitcher in contrast is probably going to be a fifth starter.
It's going to be, someone that is probably here on a 1-year deal or maybe a 2-year deal with an opt-out after one, and someone that's probably going to be making, $10 million?
Not even that. I honestly think they're going to pick someone up like a Chris Bassett type of guy or on a 1-year deal or... I don't know. There's a lot of options out there, but they're not going to get anyone serious, like a Zach Littell.
Well, what they need is just someone for depth in case someone gets hurt, because we discussed previously, the depth they have is non-existent at starting pitcher.
What if Painter fails? That's another thing, too. And then you got Walker, who's, always up and down.
And Walker, I feel like you might... I would be... If I was the Phillies, I think it would be probably smart to see if Walker can start off and have a good start to the season. And then maybe you're able to move him at the deadline for something else that you need. He's on the last year of his deal anyway. You're not going to release him and eat the $22 million on his contract or whatever it is.
Yeah, $18 million. I mean, that's not a bad idea, but
Especially because he didn't have the worst year last year, and we know with his track record, once he's good until he hits that certain amount of innings. Once he hits that certain amount of innings, he completely falls off
but that's
the cliff.
a team that's willing to trade for him, though. That's a team that really needs starting pitcher depth who is going to take on a contract of $18 million, which is highly unlikely.
But there could be a team that has some type of pitching injury that's competing for, a playoff spot that would be willing to give something up for Taijuan Walker.
That could be a thing, yep.
How many times have we seen Garrett Cole go down for an entire season over there with the Yankees? Or
Taijuan
any
Walker
other pitcher,
to the Yankees giving up all those home runs, it would be massively hated.
Well, that probably would be a horrible ballpark for him to go to.
Yeah.
So that might... His pitching and the way he does pitch would limit maybe the amount of teams that would be willing to trade for him just because he does have a lot of fly ball outs. And if you're going to be playing in a hitter's ballpark, you don't want to be having a pitcher that is on the fence of giving up home runs constantly by getting all these fly ball outs. But a team that I could see coming in for maybe Taijuan Walker would be like San Francisco Giants. Pitcher's ballpark, even if it's a fly ball pitcher, the wind out there is going to knock a lot of home runs down. Plus, they're probably going to be good enough where they're going to be competing for at least a wild card spot, I would assume, next year, the Giants. And
I don't know, that division is pretty good.
It is. It's a very good division. But
the Dodgers are going to run away with the division.
Yeah. And that's why I said for a wild card spot. They have no shot to win the division.
No, they don't.
But they could very well make it in as a wild card team. And if they're hovering around the wild card spot by the time we come around to the trade deadline, what's one of the weaker areas of their team is probably their starting pitching, because their bullpen is great. And their lineup is pretty decent, I would say, for the most part, the Giants. They do have maybe a little bit of deficiencies in their power numbers. They don't really have a true power guy other than Rafael Devers, I feel like. But for the most part, I could see them hovering around playoff contention and trying to upgrade the starting pitching. Especially with their ballpark, it would be easier for them to upgrade the pitching than it would be to upgrade their lineup. So that's just a potential.
Yeah. Well, that's if someone takes the contract.
Yeah.
So that's always another thing, too.
And I just want to say, before we move on to the Eagles, if Andrew Painter can fully get his command back, because a lot of people say after Tommy John surgery, the last thing that you get back when you're pitching, it's not your spin, it's not your velocity, it's your command. If he's able to get the command back, where he's not giving up 4 walks a game like he was last year in AAA, and he's getting that down to maybe 2 walks a game, he could potentially be a guy that you could slot at the top of your rotation.
Oh, yeah,
with how
100%.
good his stuff is. His stuff is amazing. His movement on his pitches are fantastic.
You could really have him with Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo.
And really be
3.
a top 3-headed monster.
Yep.
And then if you have Wheeler coming back to even be 80% of what he was last year.
What about Nola, too? What if Nola even gives you like a 3.5 ERA?
Right.
That's still
and that's
the
only encouraging part about this that I feel like I can sit there and go, that is where I can see them being better even than they were last year, and it really making a huge difference. Because the fact they didn't have Wheeler down the stretch last year killed them, dude. It killed them. And if they do have Painter and he's ready, I would hope that they don't shut him down because of the playoffs and the innings and all that stuff. I hope that they would be proactive enough in stalling his innings.
They wouldn't
so
shut
he's
him
able
down
to
for the playoffs, especially if he's
pitch in the
pitching at
playoffs.
like a really good level.
So that's the one thing that I can sit here and be like, all right, maybe there's some hope there, is that the starting pitching, even though it was really good last year, there were 2 parts of that starting pitching that didn't live up to expectations. if those two live up to expectations this year, this could potentially be the best starting pitching rotation in the entire league.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But
So-
that's only if they live up to it, though.
Right. That's just
the thing.
I just didn't want it to be completely negative about the Phillies.
No,
Just
yeah.
give a little spark of hope to
Even
everyone
though
out there.
I have no optimism, you got to be somewhat positive.
I don't really have too much optimism either, especially in the Nola thing, but I still think there's a chance Wheeler could come back and be the same guy that he was.
I'm hoping, yeah.
I just hope he doesn't have another clot. If he has another one, he's probably done for the rest
he's
of his
gonna
He's going to retire.
Retire, yep.
That's the only thing I'm worried about with
But,
Wheeler.
all right, Eagles time then.
Let's
They're
move on
still
to
searching for an offensive coordinator.
the offensive coordinator search, because there have been a lot of people that they have interviewed so far, and it doesn't really seem like they're any closer to actually bringing anyone in.
No, because they're not going to get one of the big fish.
Like, they've interviewed Brian Dable,
Who they're not going to get.
Matt Nagy,
Who I hope they don't get.
Mike Kafka, Bobby Slowick, Jim Bob Cooter.
Jim Bob Cooter.
If you don't know who Jim Bob Cooter is, he's the offensive coordinator of the...
Jim Bob Cooter.
I want to say Indianapolis
It's Indianapolis,
Colts. Yeah.
yep.
And then
Zach Robinson went to the Buccaneers.
Josh Grizzard, which
yep.
was passing game coordinator for the Buccaneers, I
Buccaneers,
believe,
yep.
right?
Declan Dole for the Chicago Bears. And then Mike McDaniel, who the Eagles are not going to get.
Right. So McDaniel has already gone to the Chargers. Dable is waiting to either be Bills head coach or is going to go to Tennessee. Still no word on where Kafka or Nagy have ended
That
up
Tennessee
yet.
coaching staff could be stacked. You're going to have two former...
It could be.
You're going to have two former head coordinators becoming head coaches, basically taking over the play calling, because Robert Saleh is the defensive coordinator there.
Yeah. And depending upon how their season goes, one of those guys could get elevated to the Tennessee head coach next year.
Yep.
Depending, if they have another year where they only win like 3 games.
Exactly, yeah.
But one name that I thought was really interesting that I don't think has come in for an interview, but is someone that's been mentioned, is Josh McCown.
What, Eagles
Former
legend
backup,
Josh McCown?
yeah, former Eagles backup quarterback Josh McCown apparently has been rumored that the Eagles are interested in seeing what he would be like potentially as an offensive
He's
coordinator.
a quarterback's coach.
He does have familiarity with coaching. I believe he was a high school coach for a little while. And what team is he with now? Because I know he's in the NFL.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know he's in the NFL
Quarterback's
somewhere.
coach for Minnesota.
Now,
I haven't heard anything about... I have not heard anything about Josh McCown.
they have not interviewed him. I know that they haven't interviewed him. But if you start to see more of these guys that they have interviewed leave and take other jobs elsewhere, they're going to be forced to bring in some other people.
Yeah, they're gonna bring someone in within the next coming days. But
They're going to have to before the free agency and draft. And
I've
all
been
that
hearing
stuff
a lot
happens.
of like drama and stuff around. Like, first of all, no one wants to be the coordinator because some idiot kids threw eggs at Patullo's house. So now a coordinator is gonna be worried, like, oh, what if my house gets vandalized because I don't do my job properly, or I don't
Honestly,
make the
that's
right
a
play
valid
call.
point.
That is a valid
that is
point.
a valid point. Like, that's valid for
Freaking throwing eggs at the coordinator's house. Some
like you
idiots,
think
dude.
about it. This guy Josh Grizzard is what, like 33 years old? He's probably got 2 kids that are probably underneath the age of 7. You know, a wife.
And then he gets his house egged.
Yeah, like
dude, what the hell?
like so. I could definitely see that being something that would dissuade anyone from, or maybe not being like the only or the sole reason why someone wouldn't come here, but that definitely being a contributing factor.
Another question is, what will the Eagles have next season on offense? Because what about Brown and what about Dallas Goedert?
Yeah, if you don't bring back either of those 2 guys, like if you trade away A.J. Brown and because of that dead cap hit, you're not able to re-sign Dallas Goedert, you're losing 18 out of the 26 passing touchdowns you had on the season. That is around 65%.
So you either get wide receiver from the draft, or you sign one, or you trade, or you go for a tight end.
Only thing is with if they do trade A.J. Brown, they're not going to have the cap space to go out there and sign
Exactly.
a competent replacement that's at A.J. Brown's
So
level.
you're going to have to go and get...
Plus, you also got Jahan Dotson out of contract as well.
Yep, you're going to have to get someone for the... You're going to have to get someone out of the draft, or you're just going to have to get someone on a cheap Max Kepler, Jordan Romano type deal.
But there's a realistic possibility that 3 out of the 4 top pass catchers are not here next year. Dotson could be gone, A.J. Brown could be gone, and Dallas Goedert could be gone.
Unless the Eagles are able to, like, trade A.J. Brown for really top pick in the draft, and they're able to get someone like Caleb Downs from Ohio State.
Is there any potential that you could see a player-for-player trade?
Not for A.J. Brown.
You don't think so?
No, I think the Eagles are going to want picks and picks, even picks or players and picks.
Here's why I ask. Isn't there another wide receiver that's a little disgruntled down there in Tampa Bay right now?
Who, Mike Evans?
Yeah.
Well, I would not trading Mike Evans for no A.J. Brown. I don't care that he puts up 1,000 yards a season. The dude's a free agent making $20 million.
Oh, he's not under contract?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would nix that possibility. I
No.
thought he was under contract still. But, I mean, how much do you expect to get for AJ?
I want 2. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm asking for 2 first-round picks. I said last week he's the top 5 receiver in the NFL, and I at least want 2 first-round picks for someone that's going to give me 1,000+ yards a season and 10+ touchdowns. Like, that is a huge boost to the offense. Look how well Jalen Hurts played with A.J. Brown in his first season.
Well, if you don't get 2 firsts, how far would you be willing to budge on your 2 firsts? Like, it has to be 2 first rounds, and it can't be anything else. It can't be a first and a second. Can't be like a first and a third.
It depends where the first is. Like, if
Okay,
it's a high first round and a second, then yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, what if it's like the Oakland Raiders, right? And they want to pair A.J. Brown with Fernando Mendoza, who they're about to get. So they give you a next year first round and a this year second round. Is that something you would be willing to...
I don't know, because I don't know how far... Because where are the Raiders going to finish? That's pretty much...
Probably not high enough next year
and
to be
that's another
a playoff team.
That's
so
another
you're probably going to
gamble.
get a top
So the
15,
Eagles,
I would expect.
If they finish, 5-11, they're finishing with...
Well, if the Eagles finish 5-11?
No, if the Raiders finish 5-11, you have that pick. You're getting probably a top 6 or 7 pick.
Yeah, if they're 5-11, you would assume that it would be a top 10.
They need to draft Mendoza, but they also need to get an offensive line.
Yes.
Because they did that. They got Ashton Genty instead of an offensive line, and look where it got them. Nowhere.
Now, it's much easier for you to get offensive linemen through free agency than it is for you to get a quarterback through free agency. So you might see them make some improvements to the offensive line there, and that would probably signify they're going with Mendoza. I think they're going to get Mendoza number 1 overall anyway.
Yeah, he declared.
There's no way that any team would realistically draft an offensive lineman as the number 1 overall pick, just because the value for offensive linemen at number 1 overall pick is not even close to the value you would get at other positions. You would never see an offensive lineman taken first overall.
Yep.
Taken like 6th or 7th. All right. Yeah. Or like, somewhere within the 5 to 10 range, I would say, yeah, you could probably have, an offensive tackle get taken or something like that. But you're not going to have any type of O-linemen that are ever drafted in the top 5 of a draft, probably. Just because the position itself doesn't warrant you to pick that high. No team that's sitting there at 3-11 is being like, oh yeah, we need our center of the future.
Yeah.
Like, you're way concerned with other
You get that
positions.
in the second round.
You're not even thinking about your offensive line when
But-
you're 3-11.
For AJ, I'm thinking like he could go to a team like Buffalo that could overpay for him immensely. They got Cookies Keon Coleman, who dropped a touchdown. They have Khalil Shakir, who's their best receiver.
Yep,
It was
and
so bad
didn't
they had to get...
He didn't even crack 1,000 yards on the season.
No, it
did
was
he?
so bad that they had to get Brandon Cooks, like 45-year-old Brandon Cooks, to be the main wide receiver. So getting someone like Brown would make him and Josh Allen like a really good duo. But I think that the Bills could overpay for Brown just because their wide receiver
My only thing with that
room
is
so limited.
if they were really looking for wide receivers, don't you think we would have heard a little bit about the Bills being interested in any of the wide receivers that were available at the trade deadline this year? I didn't hear anything about them being in on
I think
Jacoby
it was, and they got
Myers.
Brandon Cooks.
Well, yeah, but they didn't get Brandon Cooks until, what, week 17?
I don't know when they got Brandon Cooks,
It was, like, very late in the season.
but
Like,
I guess they trusted in Keon Coleman and whoever else for that long.
Because Coleman didn't even play, like, 3 out of the last 4 games because of some type of team disciplinary thing
too
that they
busy
were
talking
doing.
about freaking cookies.
And then... and then... like, when we were at the trade deadline and there was talk of Jacoby Myers being moved and, like, wasn't there... Who else was moved as wide receiver? Like Shaheed and some of the other guys.
Shaheed and what's his face got moved, Jacoby Myers, and that was pretty much it.
I never heard anything about the Bills being in on either of those two guys, which makes me think that maybe they're not that concerned with the wide receiver position.
Well, they should be concerned now after the game against the Broncos.
Oh, 100% they should be from an organization. I'm just thinking that, like, you would have known as the Bills by the trade deadline that you needed help at wide receiver, and yet you made no attempt to go out and get a
it's
wide
like a
receiver.
Dave Dombrowski type of thing right
Like,
there.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm sitting here like, are they really going to address that problem in the offseason? Because they didn't seem to really have any care about it during the middle of the season when they probably had their best shot ever to win a Super Bowl so far. And they decided not to pull the trigger and go out there and overpay for a wide receiver?
Luck by...
Like, think about it.
They did get lucked out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it shaped out perfectly for Buffalo this year. Kansas City and Baltimore both didn't make it. They had the opportunity to really go forward and grab the AFC and get to the Super Bowl this year. A better chance this year than probably any other year that they've had. And they didn't go for it.
I'll take the Bills 2026 first and 2027 first and a 2026 third.
And a
Brown.
2026 third. So a first this year, a first next year, and a third this year.
Yep. That gets you a top 5 receiver in the league with the top 5 quarterback in Allen. That gets you a dynamic duo right there. That gives the Eagles the 23rd and 26th overall pick in the draft.
And they could potentially package those picks to move up further in the first round if they want to.
You could package those.
Because you still have another 2 or 3 picks in the third round this year.
Yep.
Plus, you would be adding another third round for this year.
You have a couple.
Don't you have 2 seconds and 2 thirds this year?
Yeah, you could take the 23rd or the 26th pick. You could trade up, or you could take the 26th pick with another pick and trade up, or the 23rd or whatever. Get you even to a top 15 spot, like what they've been doing in the 2022-23 draft.
Now, how many picks do they have in the first 3 rounds? Because they are going to have to use some of those picks to replace some of the guys that they're not going to be able to sign. Especially if they have to trade away AJ Brown and eat that $60 million cap hit.
So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks through 5 rounds. So the first 3 rounds they have 3 picks.
Oh, I thought they had multiple thirds and seconds this year.
They had to make trades. Like for Jalen Phillips, that was a 3rd round pick.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if that's the case, then they're probably not going to trade away any of those picks because they have to use those. You have to get some players in here that are on cheaper contracts than what you have. You just need to. So they're probably not going to trade away those picks, I would assume. Now,
well, they could get
picks?
Hold on, yeah. So yeah, they used the pick that the Jets gave them for Hassan Reddick for Jalen Phillips, and then if he leaves, they get a comp pick, so they could get 2 third-round picks, and then they could get another 4th-round comp pick. Same with the 5th round. If Sam Howell leaves, they get a 5th-round comp pick, and then they have no draft picks round 6 and 7.
Okay, so they could potentially get upwards of around, 7 picks through the first 5 rounds?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you have 7 picks through the first 5 rounds, maybe you're willing to trade away one of those. Maybe even 2, depending if it's the right player that you're bringing in here. But I wouldn't be expecting some type of big draft day trade like we have gotten the past couple of years from Howie. Like the past couple of years, we've had some big trades on draft day from Howie. Moving up, getting A.J. Brown.
Yeah, getting
moving
Brown.
up and moving back.
Moving up to get Carter.
Moving up to get Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Moving back to...
They moved up to get Campbell. They moved up to get Davis.
And then didn't they trade back in the second round in order to grab someone too?
And they moved up to get Nolan Smith. I know that.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of draft day moves by Howie and some pretty big ones. But this year might be a little more tame in how the Eagles approach the draft, and they might approach it from a more straightforward perspective of we're just going to use our picks instead of trading them away. Because they're really starting to get to the point now where they need to get guys in here on cheap deals, because you got Jalen's contract, you got AJ's contract, you got Devontae's contract. Who knows if whether or not you're going to be...
You have all the contracts on the offensive line.
Plus, you got to figure out, are you paying Jordan Davis? Are you going to be paying...
Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell.
Right. Are you going to pay Nakobe Dean?
Are you going to pay Reed Blankenship? Are you going to pay Phillips?
Right. These are all... So, all of these guys still need to be paid. And when you have all these guys that still got to get paid, you can't be sitting there trading away the picks that you have to bring in someone that's already on like a $5 million contract. You got to be using those picks on cost-effective players from the draft.
I believe in Howie Roseman, though.
I do as well. And he's hit on a lot of his draft picks over the past couple of seasons.
Mm-hmm. He turned Cooper DeJean as a second-round pick, turned All-Pro.
Now, last year wasn't as great. I mean, they did get Campbell, but aside from Campbell...
We haven't really seen a lot from the others yet.
No, Makuba did play good for when he did play, but he was hurt 3 times throughout the entire season last year.
If he can stay healthy, he could be a good replacement at safety.
Right. That's the only thing, is he able to stay healthy?
Is he able to stay healthy? What, him and Sidney Brown got the same thing in common. They can't stay healthy.
Right. And this is now 3 years of Sidney Brown not being able to stay healthy. Do you really want to have Reed Blankenship leave, and you're relying on 2 guys that are injury prone?
Yeah.
Plus Marcus Epps, and who else do they even have back there at safety? You got Brown, you have Makubo, you got Marcus Epps, you got Blankenship. Who else played safety?
Yeah, who else do you want to rely on? Like, do you really want to give Sidney Brown the 5th-year option to be trash?
Right.
And injured?
So they're going to have to make some picks. And they're going to have to make some good picks in the draft this year.
Yep. And then the last thing is that the defensive backs coach, Christian Parker, left to be the Cowboys defensive coordinator.
Which sucks.
Yeah, obviously.
Cowboys,
not just because he left to a division rival.
But also because he seems to be pretty damn good at his job. And the Cowboys seem to have gotten a very good
Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah.
Coach that is probably going to... If he is able to turn that defense around and turn them into a top 10 defense this year, there's the potential that he might get head coaching job interviews next year. And if it's not next year, it'll be probably the year following.
That's if, what's-his-face, Jerry Jones prioritizes defense.
Plus, who knows how he feels about Brian Schottenheimer? What if they have another down year next year? Or a down year in Jerry's eyes? Does that mean that, hey, what if we had a down year but we got a top 10 defense? Do we elevate Christian Parker to head coach? And now we got to deal with that for the next however long, where Christian Parker is the Dallas Cowboys head coach. So it's good for him that he got, some upward mobility, because it's not like he was going to be defensive coordinator here with Vic Fangio until Fangio retired.
Yeah.
So it's good that he, got some upward trajectory, but stinks that you're going to see him twice a year on the other side of the field.
Oh, we got some head coaching news from Adam Steelers are going to be hiring Mike McCarthy as the head coach.
What?
Breaking news.
Dude, that's a horrible hire.
Oh my goodness, man. You got rid of Mike Tomlin to hire Mike McCarthy?
That is a horrible hire.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well.
Well, that's not our division, and
not our side.
Pittsburgh will always live in the shadow of Pennsylvania.
Wow, I can't believe that they're signing Mike freaking McCarthy.
That is not a good move at all.
Like is it because they just want to keep Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know.
Is this a hire to keep Aaron Rodgers from leaving?
Yeah, what is this? Yeah, hiring a coach to keep a 42-year-old quarterback around is such a Steelers move. Thanks.
It is a Steelers move. It's 100% a Steelers move. That's why I'm saying, is that really what they're doing here?
Watch the Steelers draft a quarterback.
Dude, I guarantee you, the only reason that he is in there is because Aaron Rodgers went, I want him to be my head coach. God. And if I don't have him as my head coach, I'm going to leave and go somewhere else next year.
You're 42, dude. Retire. Like, gee. Oh,
wow.
That was your head coaching news right there.
Wow. That is laughable.
Basketball.
We're playing basketball.
The Sixers have matched their win total already, and they still have over 39 games to go. So they had 24 wins last year. They have 24 wins this year.
Was not a very high watermark for them to beat.
Yeah,
so
it's not an accomplishment.
Not very impressive, but still progress nonetheless.
Yeah, obviously they're I think the 5th seed in the East, so they're still in that playoffs.
Yes.
They're still not in the play-in.
No, they're not in the play-in rounds as of right now. I still think they're a game or a half game.
Yeah,
up on
I was
Cleveland.
looking from like 5 to like 7 and whatnot, and it's
very close.
Yeah, it is.
They're all within like a game and a half of each other.
But the Bulls and Hawks and Miami Heat will get the play-in spot, so it's whatever. But Tyrese Maxey is going to be starting for the Eastern Conference in the All-Star game as we expected. He's been one of the best players in the Eastern Conference all season, so there's that.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Yep. And I talk about Joel Embiid now because the dude's playing fantastic. I mean, this dude is playing his best basketball we've ever seen probably since his MVP season.
Now
he's got 30-plus points in the last 3 games, and his last 15 games he's averaging 28, 8, and 5.
Which is fantastic. That is very reminiscent of those MVP numbers right there. Except the rebounds were a little higher.
He played 46 minutes in Thursday's game versus Houston in overtime with a triple-double.
Yep, first time he's had a triple-double, and I think since the
we have
playoffs against the Knicks, right?
We have not seen that from Joel Embiid in almost 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like, because did he have a triple-double against the Knicks? I don't know if he ever got 10 assists. I know he definitely had a couple of games where he had over 10 rebounds in that series, but...
Well, the thing is, we haven't seen this performance from Joel in a long, long time, and everyone's been saying that we don't want him no more, he's old, retire, trade... Well,
I was one of those guys.
Yeah, you were one of those guys.
I was definitely one of those guys that was being like, you know what? I'm tired of Joel. Just get him out of here. Get the headache done and over with. Let's move on.
I mean, hey, he's playing to par, so...
He's proven me wrong right now.
Yep.
He is 100% proven me wrong, and I'm willing to sit here and eat those words and say that I was wrong. And he has proved that he still has a lot left to give.
He does,
and that knee, even though it does swell up, does not hinder him from being a dominant force.
Nope.
He is still dominant out there, which is crazy to think of when you think of all of the leg procedures that this man has gone through over the past 5 years. For him to still be as dominant as he was Thursday night is insane.
He's insane.
Guy is a freak.
Him and Maxey and Edgecombe, George, Oubre. That's a playoff caliber lineup right there.
When you got Paul George as your number 3 option scoring 15 a game and Kelly Oubre as your number 4 scoring 12, you're going to win a lot of basketball games.
Yep.
If your 4th highest scoring guy is sitting there getting you 12 points a game, that's pretty damn good. There's not a lot of teams that have 4 consistent guys that get double figures every single night. Most of the time it's 3 guys.
It's crazy, yeah.
And then maybe there will be 1 4th guy that'll pop up for a game here or there.
There was another thing from WIP. I got to find it out, but it was another one of their like rage bait crap trades that just makes them look so stupid.
No, so who's the guy that used to be the announcer? Bill Simmons?
I think so.
So he went on his podcast, I believe, yesterday or the day before, and he put out a trade proposal on his podcast that I think everyone was reacting to yesterday. So is this like
No, this is from
the
Joe,
Giannis
This
thing?
is from Joe Giglio, yeah. Hey, dude wanted to trade VJ Edgecombe for Giannis.
This is the thing.
I was like, dude, what the hell?
This is the trade proposal that Simmons put out on his podcast. Everyone was reacting to it yesterday, where he said that the Sixers could get Giannis Antetokounmpo if they traded Paul George and VJ Edgecombe.
It was Edgecombe and like a first-round pick.
Oh, I heard Paul George and VJ Edgecombe
with no pick.
Paul
George, Edgecombe, and a first-round pick.
Oh, okay. There was a pick that was
Giannis.
included. And, he just kind of put that out on his podcast, and he was trying to see what people thought about it. And basically all of the comments on his podcast were full of people from Philadelphia being like, no way, not a chance.
I'm not trading.
I would never trade VJ.
I'm not trading Edgecombe for Giannis.
Even though at the beginning of the season, if you would have proposed that trade, probably a lot of people here would have said yes to get Paul George out of here.
Just to get Paul George out of Philadelphia.
So it's crazy how much can change in just a couple of months.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't trade VJ Edgecombe. That dude's the
I would not
future of
either.
this franchise.
I would not trade VJ. Honestly, I wouldn't shake up this roster too much. It seems like this roster's got some good chemistry. Seems like all the guys really gel together for the most part. I don't really see anyone arguing on the bench. Everyone seems to have smiles on their faces. Obviously, you want to bring in maybe a couple of pieces at the trade deadline just to keep pace with everyone else that's going to be improving. But I don't think that you should shake up this roster too much.
I don't think they're going to get any big names.
No, you might get 1 or 2 players to round out some of the areas that maybe you feel like could use a little bit of strengthening. And there's 2 guys that would probably have a high likelihood of getting traded. And that would most likely be Andre Drummond, just because of the fact that solid backup center, only making, $4 million or $5 million?
Yeah, he's not making as much. And then,
so
who else are you
that's
thinking?
someone that could be easily moved, or a contract that could be easily moved. Plus, Drummond is a team that will have suitors. And the other guy would be probably Eric Gordon. Not that he's going to have a big market, but he's only making like $1.2 million or something like that. So he would be a guy that you could throw into basically any trade just to make money even itself out. And it would be very easy to move that contract. Plus, he has no real clear role on this team other than just being an old guy that, stands in the corner. So there might be some other team out there that feels like they could benefit from having the experience of basically another player coach.
Yep.
Kind of like how Kyle Lowry is. So you could potentially see Eric Gordon be moved. And I don't really think that the Sixers are willing to give up much else other than that. I don't see them moving Bona. I don't see them moving Oubre. I don't see them moving McCain. There's still way too much potential in him.
They're not going to move Jared McCain.
Right. So there's not really a lot of clear guys that you would sit there and be like, yeah, you could trade them away. Maybe Dominic Barlow, but you still
I still
like
don't think they move him either.
Exactly, because you like what he's given to the team right now. There's not really a lot of guys that you're sitting there being like, I'm willing to give him away, because a lot of guys do a lot of different things on this team. Barlow plays very different from the way anyone else on this team plays. Same way with Kelly Oubre. Same way with Quentin Grimes. Like, you don't want to trade away really any of these pieces that you have unless you really feel confident about what you're getting in return.
Yep.
So I wouldn't expect to see anything too crazy. Maybe you see 1 or 2 trades. but it's not going to be for any type of crazy player.
Yeah, I honestly don't even have to shake up the roster. Just leave
Yeah.
it as it is. And
Honestly,
they're still
I'm fine with the roster.
They're still going to be winning games.
Yeah, I'm fine with this roster how it is right now. If they want to make a couple of small changes here or there, that's fine. But I don't want them to do anything drastic. I don't want them to trade away anyone that's getting more than like 13 to 15 minutes per game right now. Because everyone that is giving you minutes is giving you quality minutes. So there's no reason to trade anyone away.
Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, George, Fiji.
Like, literally everyone that's playing is playing well.
Yeah.
At some aspect.
So if they continue this pace, they'll finish within the top 6 of the Eastern Conference.
Oh, yeah. And this is actually one of the years that I could sit there and go, the bench isn't completely awful.
No, it's not.
We've had really bad benches.
You got Grimes, who's been playing good.
Sometimes you have Oubre coming off the bench. Sometimes you got Barlow coming off the bench.
Bona.
You got Bona. You got McCain. Like, you've got a solid depth on your team.
Once Jared McCain can work out his struggles, because he's been banged up all this time.
Plus, he's still trying to work his way just back into... Last year, he was, the number 2 scorer on this team last year. So he's got to find that role for himself now. Because the team did well without him. And especially as a guy that's coming in as only a second-year player, you're not sitting there demanding for the ball. You got to find a way to carve out a role for yourself, and he's still trying to do that. But he's definitely someone that, if they need to create a roster spot, could maybe get dropped down to the G League if they're not going to play him.
Yeah, I think they dropped him down to the G League just a couple of days ago, just so he can get more playing time.
Yeah, because if he's not going to get more than 10 minutes a game, you want him to continue to develop.
If you're going to go
and you need him to play.
If you're going to play 6 minutes with 0 points, just go into the G League and get 25 minutes with 30 points.
And honestly, the stats don't even matter too much. It's just being out there playing and adjusting, being able to actually be on the court and improve, because it's hard for you to make improvements to your game if you're just playing 6 minutes.
Yeah.
No one's really going to improve from that.
Improve in the G League than stick with the main squad.
Plus, that would be a way to open up a roster spot without getting rid of anyone.
Yep.
Because they have a full roster right now. I think they have the most amount of... They have all 15 guys. So the only way you can bring someone in is if you trade someone away or you...
Just cut Lowry the damn cheerleader.
I think they like having Lowry as basically another coach.
What, the Garrett Stubbs freaking type guy on that damn team? Or the player coach?
No, he's almost like a bench coach.
Oh my goodness.
Like he's kind of like a baseball bench coach. I mean,
so silly.
Dude, I'm not kidding. Like,
no, yeah, it's funny.
You see him on the sidelines. He's sitting there talking to the coaches, pointing stuff out. He's talking to the players, whoever's sitting next to him. He's sitting there in the huddle sometimes, leading the huddle instead of Nick Nurse. Like,
it's good for him, though. So
100%.
He'll get a coaching job.
100%. And he's probably going to get a coaching job here.
Yep.
But I don't think that they would want to give that away. Because even if you cut him and release him, unless he were to retire right away, I don't think you can bring him back as a coach. And if you really value his opinion and his, viewpoint of him being on the bench, then you can't get rid of that guy. Even if it is a guy that's not playing and is just giving you insights. There was a reason why Miami kept Udonis Haslem around for as long as they did. Because that type of role
they give him the coaching,
is pivotal for...
Player coach right there.
It's so important. Like, when... Udonis Haslem was getting towards the end of that career, and everyone on the team had something positive to say about Udonis Haslem, even though he played rarely more than 3 minutes a game. Everyone loved him, loved how he was in the locker room.
Get a lot of insight on him.
Yeah, they all picked his brain because he had been someone that had been around for a long time. He knew the game very well, and those Miami Heat teams were very successful. So I can't sit there and say it didn't do anything for them, because it probably had some type of positive effect. So if that's the case, then keep him on. It's not like you're paying him more than what? You're paying him veteran minimum?
I think it is vet min.
So it's $1.2 million. So that's probably less money than you're actually going to pay an assistant coach, right? Nick Nurse is probably making how much? Like $10 million to be head coach? So assistant
here we
coach
go.
is
He has
probably making
indicated
around
plans. after the season signing a one-day contract with Toronto.
Oh, to retire.
Yeah.
Retire as a Raptor and then probably move into coaching.
Yeah, that's fine, though.
So, but this team is definitely much better than what we thought they were at the beginning of the season coming into it. And I'm willing to sit here and say I was wrong about Joel Embiid, about this team, because at the beginning of the season, I'm pretty sure I was sitting here being like, there's no way they're going to make the playoffs.
No, I don't think a lot of people think that.
And they're in prime position to not even play in the play-in. So,
yeah, which is really good. I'll take it.
I would not have seen that coming.
Yep.
And then before we wrap up, you just want to talk about the Flyers for a little bit, real quick?
Last little bit.
So, Flyers have not been playing their best recently.
No, they beat the Avalanche.
And they kind of killed them last night.
They did, yep.
They absolutely pummeled Colorado, which is a really good team.
Tippett had a hat trick.
Second hat trick of his career.
Yep.
Plus, he's had a pretty solid season overall, which he's probably having his best season to date so far. And I said it a couple of weeks ago, I think maybe around a month ago, if Owen Tippett is able to live up to the potential of when they first got him here, this team is probably going to end up making the playoffs.
They were playing Utah, and Garnett Hathaway had a wide open net, and they got his puck stolen.
Yep.
Utah went down and scored right away.
Yep. Literally 32 seconds later.
They lost in overtime. The fact that you missed an open net is beyond astonishing to me.
Now, I have no explanation for that. Bad aim, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he was hurrying to try to get the shot off or something.
No, the puck got completely stolen from behind.
So, I have no explanation as to how you messed that up. But one thing that I can say is Colorado are a very good team with before last night, they had only 5 overtime losses. 5 regulation losses on the entire season.
And the Flyers just came in and dropped 7 goals on them.
So that was something that was very encouraging to see, especially because the Flyers have had a rough time scoring goals recently. And
they've also had a rough time in allowing goals.
Yeah, Samuel Ersson has been not very good this year.
Ersson sucks, and they called up the other guy, Kolosov, and he immediately gave up 3 goals right away, and then they were so bad they had to put back in Ersson.
And it really, this stat really tells the story right here. 9 games ago, they had a goal difference of +10. Now, today, it is -4.
Yeah.
Even after they won by a 4-goal advantage yesterday's game.
Because of how much goals they've been giving up.
They've given up 39 goals over the past 9 games.
Which is insane.
Which is... it's ridiculous, dude. That's 6 goals a game.
Yeah, they average of 4 goals a game.
That's way... You're not going to win a lot of hockey games if you're giving up 4 goals a game. And there have been, I believe, 4 out of the 9 of those games, they've given up 6 or more. They gave up 7 to the Lightning. They gave up 6 to the Rangers. They gave up,
here we go.
5 to the Lightning
5
again.
to Utah, 6 to the Rangers, 6 to the Penguins, 5 to the Sabres, 5 to the Lightning, 7 to the Lightning.
Dude, that's what? 5 games in a row you just said of over 5 goals?
Yep.
You're not going to win.
Yeah, you're not going to win games giving up that much goals.
No, you are not going to win any amount of games if you're giving up 5 goals and expecting your team to go out there and score 6 or 7 and win you the game. It's just not going to happen. Now, it did happen against Colorado, but that is definitely a outlier event. That is not something that you can rely on. That is not something that is sustainable. There's no way that you can go the rest of the season giving up 4 goals a game and expecting to make the playoffs. So I don't know what they're going to do with the trade deadline.
Maybe get a freaking goalkeeper.
I don't know what their plan is.
They need a proven goalkeeper for the home stretch.
And I don't know if they are still fully sold on the fact that they should be buying this season. I don't know if they feel confident enough in the roster that they have to try to bring players in or maybe
they're only 2
ship players
points out of a playoff spot.
They are only 2 points out, but with how they've played, they've been very up and down the entire season. There hasn't been a lot of consistency that you've seen. The only consistency you've really been able to see is from a handful of guys, and that would be Vladar, who is injured right now, and Travis Konechny. He's had a fantastic season so far. And what's the other guy?
Trevor Zegras. Outside of those 3 guys, really, you've had very inconsistent play from the entire rest of this group.
Tippett has been 0 down. Hathaway hasn't been great. Cates has been up and down. Bobby Brink has given you some flashes, but that's about it. Just some flashes.
Flashes ain't going to help.
Right. If they're seriously
for a playoff
going to be competing, they need to bring in some players that have a more consistent night-to-night performance.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if they believe in the rest of the guys that they have, the supporting cast, to make those moves, or if they're going to sit there and try to sell off maybe 1 or 2 guys like they did last year and gear up again for next season. I just don't know how long you can continue doing that before you finally push the button and be like, all right, we're going for it.
Yeah, this could be the year. I don't know.
Because I feel like it's been that way for the past, 3 years?
When the trade deadline comes around, we'll see what they do.
They've been, the past 3 to 4 seasons, they've been very, teetering right on that edge of being either a buyer or a seller. And eventually, you gotta click the button to buy. You can't always just be selling when you're in this position of, oh, what do we do? Do we buy or do we sell? There's not a clear
Exactly.
Not a clear path. Well, eventually, you're gonna have to be the buyer. You can't always just be the seller. You're gonna have to, prove to this fan base at some point that you're serious about going out there and winning this. You can't sell every single
season.
Exactly. And the past 2 years, they've been good enough to be buyers at the deadline, and the fan base has been very disappointed by the fact that they've been sellers.
Yep.
And you can't continue to disappoint the fan base like that. You have to, even if you don't think that you're ready, sometimes just meet the fan base demands to keep everyone interested.
Dave Dombrowski.
Yeah. Dave Dombrowski, take some notes. They're not like the Phillies.
They're not.
The Flyers aren't like the Phillies or the Eagles, where no matter how good they are, they're going to sell out every night and they're going to have a boatload of support. No matter what happens with the Eagles and the Phillies might not be selling out every game, but they still have...
We've seen Citizens Bank Park look really empty at some times.
Yes, but you don't get the apathy of people not even caring to the point where they don't watch on TV at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that everyone will still do that, even if they don't go to the game,
Yeah.
Everyone will still sit there and watch the Phillies on 7 o'clock at night during the summer, even if they're not going to the ballpark. It's not the same way with the Flyers.
Yep.
If you're the Flyers, you don't have as many people that are just leisurely watching on TV. You got to get people into your stadium to keep the interest up. And eventually you got to sit there and you got to go for it to prevent people from doing the fan thing and just being like, oh, well, they're not going for it, so why am I going to sit there and spend my money to go to the game so I can just watch them on TV?
Exactly. And if they lose 6-3, you didn't spend any money.
Exactly. So that's the only thing that I have really on the trade deadline for them. I haven't really seen any reports indicating whether or not they're going to be buyers or sellers. I still think that they themselves are trying to figure that out. But their deadline comes up, a week after the NBA trade deadline, right? Or 2 weeks? Because the NBA
they're within each other.
The NBA one is February 5th, right? And I think the NHL one is...
They're not that far from each other.
Yeah, I know. I think the NHL is like February 11th or something like that.
And trades will happen before the trade deadline anyways.
Of course. So
even if the Flyers could get a trade, even a couple days before the trade deadline.
Oh, okay. It's actually March 6th because of the Olympic roster.
I forgot about that. The Olympics.
The Olympics from the 4th to the 22nd has pushed back the trade deadline.
They're doing they're pausing the season.
Yeah, because of the Olympics. So from the 4th to the 22nd will be the Olympics. So even though the trade deadline is not technically over, there will be no trades made throughout that period because the NHL is technically not active. So there's not going to be any trades from the 4th to the 22nd, but you could still see trades from the 22nd until the 6th.
You'll probably hear rumors.
Yeah, you'll hear a whole bunch of rumors, but nothing will be finalized probably during that time.
Nah.
But that's all I got for the Flyers, unless you want to add anything in.
No, I'm going to wrap it up here then. Hopefully next week the Eagles have an offensive coordinator.
Dude, if they don't have an offensive coordinator next week, we got a serious issue on our
that'll give us
hands.
something to talk about next week. Because you know damn well we won't be talking about the Phillies.
It depends. I mean, they did announce their non-roster invitees yesterday. I was going to wait up until, pitchers and catchers report to really go over all the non-roster invites like I did last year.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't matter to me.
if we got nothing else to talk
I'll
about.
probably look at them too. All right, that's fine. All right, then. That's all we got to say for today. Stay safe during the snowstorm, and we'll see you next week.